All right, and we are live now. I'm so sorry for the technical difficulties we have. This has been a big project that we've been trying to put together, and some things just don't work out the way you want it to. But here we are. So thank you guys for joining this year for the 2020 Kiwi Game Starter announcement live stream. We're very excited to be at this point finally. We've been running Kiwi Game Starter with the NZGDA for over 6 years now, since 2014, and every year it just keeps getting better. The games that are sent to us just keep getting more bigger scale, more adventurous, more creative, and it's such an exciting time of the year for us. So last year, unfortunately, because of COVID, there were some delays and we couldn't do it at our usual time during NZGDC. But here we are. We have 4 finalists joining us today, and we're going to get underway. So we have a short live stream for you guys today. We have Sam Barham, who's the winner of Kiwi Game Starter 2019, who submitted Before We Leave. He's joining us today, and we're going to have a short conversation with him. We're also going to hear about the judges, the finalists, and find out who the winner is, and then find out about next year's competition. So stay tuned. It should be no longer than an hour. We'll just get through it. I'm going to throw to a gallery view so that everyone, all the contestants and judges can wave. So they should all be on screen now. Big hi, everyone's waiting in anticipation. Should be a fun competition. And yeah, so first things first, I'm going to throw it over to Lucas, who's another NZGDA board member, and he's going to explain and announce the finalists that we have here today. Thanks, Lucas.
Thanks, Carl. I've been helping to coordinate the judging process for this year. It's been a long and interesting process, and we've had a really good turnout from the judges. So the way it works is there's an initial selection round that happens. This year, I believe we had about 19 qualified applications, which is a great increase from last year and all prior years. And this year we called upon 24 community members to judge the initial round, come up with the selection of 4 finalists. And so that was a really, really good contribution from the community as a whole. It's really nice to have everyone from around New Zealand kind of chipping in and getting a really broad range of opinions and feedback for each of the contestants. We have arrived with the 4 finalists. And I'm going to quickly kind of go through and introduce each one of the projects and the teams. So we're going to start off with Whistling Wizard with Rose and Locket. Whistling Wizard is a 2-person team out of Christchurch. They've been working together, I think, for the last 7 years or so, and they've started to fully dedicate themselves to this particular project, taking inspiration from Supergiant and Team Cherry. They're really hoping to get this game on the international stage. Now, their game is called Rose and Locket, and it's a cinematic action run and gun side-scrolling adventure that takes place in the Wild West, in the underworld of the Wild West, and it's this really beautiful, evocative, colorful game with really engaging gameplay. At times it looks like a comic book, and at times it looks like a Steven Soderbergh film. It's this really exciting experience. Now, for each one of these teams, we also asked them to offer a piece of advice for maybe people who are going to be joining us next year. And the Whistling Wizard advice was, don't be afraid to show your work and be proud of it, which is awesome. And involve yourself in the New Zealand game community. Know your project really well, and be sure you have a strong strategy and business plan, and generally just give it a go, which I think is fantastic advice. So next up, we have Mecha Weka with their project Battle Cruisers. And Mecha Weka are a team of 3 out of Auckland, with Peter and Becky in Auckland, and Felix, who I think is in Seattle. Go Seahawks. So their game Mecha Weka is a strategy game, a real-time strategy game taking place on battleships on a future flooded Earth. And it uses hand-drawn 2D graphics and a really cool particle system to get really nice pyrotechnics and exciting changes and developments in the game. And there's no battle that's the same twice. And as you play the game, it progresses and it culminates in satisfying ultra weapons. And it's very much inspired by classics like Command and Conquer. Yeah, it's a really, really cool looking game. with exciting gameplay. Now, their advice was simply 2 words: start early, and that's it. Just get that process started really, really early. It does take a while. We do require people applying for it to have their business plan together, to have a budget together. So there's actually quite a lot. You're not just submitting an executable. So that's a good thing to pay attention to. So our third game and project is Wildflower with their game Ghostvale. And Wildflower is a 1-person team out of Hamilton. And they've been involved in game development for the last 15 years. And deeply inspired by Peter Molyneux and Blizzard for the level of polish and the sort of really creativity in terms of gameplay. Ghostvale is a procedurally generated roguelike card game set in a charming open world with 2D graphics, like beautiful hand-drawn 2D graphics in a 3D environment. It plays like a tabletop, but involves all this really cool digital features to it. And you progress and you develop your character as you pass through this beautiful world. With each a deep procedural engine kind of making sure that each level and as you progress, you have a deep replayability with the game. Their feedback, which is also fantastic, is do as much playtesting as you possibly can. Totally true across the board. Don't sleep on making tutorials, and add as many accessibility features as you can, such as volume controls, text control, speed text, and skipping tutorials, etc. So that's also very, very good advice. Last up, we've got Bardsley Creative with their game Seedlings. Bardsley Creative is Peter Bardsley, who's been working under the title Bardsley Creative in doing animation and development, and for the last 3 or 4 years has been working on Seedlings. After about a year of development, he decided to bring on Daniel Tebbett to help out with code. So their game is called Seedlings, and it's this beautiful photorealistic surreal puzzle platformer in which you play the role of a seed navigating your way through this complex side-scrolling New Zealand environment. They're leveraging their photography background to create these amazing scenes that are clearly scenes from New Zealand, but have this intimacy and this very small scale that really engages people in this Lilliputian world. It's a really beautiful game. And so those are our 4 finalists this year.
Cool. So I'll take it back from you, Lucas. What we're going to do now is have a quick conversation with Sam. So I'm going to introduce Sam to you guys. Sam Barham is the founder of Balancing Monkey Games and the main founder of Before We Leave, which was the winner of the 2019 Kiwi Game Starter. So thanks for joining us today, Sam. I really appreciate your time. Cool. So here I'm here with Sam Barham, who's the founder of Balancing Monkey Games and Before We Leave, which was the 2019 Kiwi Game Starter winner. They've had an amazing past few years, having an exclusive Epic Games Store launch, and they're launching on Steam this year. So thanks so much for joining us today, Sam.
No worries. Thank you for having me.
So I've collected a few questions that I think all the finalists and anyone listening as well would just love to hear your perspective. So first off, how has the last 2 years been since you won Kiwi Game Starter? How's that changed the trajectory of where Before We Leave could have gone?
So the last 2 years have been just a spectacular journey. From working by myself as a hobby to transitioning to working on the game full time. And now Balancing Monkey Games is 4 people, and we have an office space, and it's just been amazing.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. So you were actually a finalist in 2018 with Before We Leave. At that time, it was called Before, I believe. So how was being a finalist back then? How was that, and how did that affect you re-entering the year after?
So I mean, being a finalist in 2018 was really the first event and the main event that triggered this whole journey I've wound up going on. because it was because of the visibility that I gained by being a finalist in 2018 that I got funding, which allowed me to work on the game full time, which meant that my 2019 entry was so much more compelling.
Yeah, that's awesome. I would love to know, because you get prize money from winning, but you also get a mentorship program. The mentorship program isn't as defined because it's unique based on the kind of projects that that succeed. But I'd love to know from your perspective, what was it that you gained from the mentorship program that you'd like to share?
I think the main thing is, I'm in this journey for the long haul, I hope. I don't want to just make one game and vanish. And so having a mentor who's been in the game industry for a while and had some success meant that I could ask the questions about how do I set things up for the future? Where do I go from here? What did you struggle with? How can I avoid that? That kind of thing. It's been super amazing having that advice, helping me to set things up for the future.
Totally. I'd love to know what, just from your perspective, what is Before We Leave in terms of a game? I think it'd just be interesting to share the kind of game that succeeded in this program.
Cool. So Before We Leave is a non-violent, mostly city building game. So the idea is that there was a vast galactic disaster that basically wiped everything out, and at the start of the game your little people are emerging from a bomb shelter where they've survived for the last few centuries, and you have to start rebuilding. So it's technically post-apocalyptic, but it's more of a everything wiped clean and regrown post-apocalyptic rather than mutants and guns. And you recolonize your little corner of the universe, a solar system, and yeah, just build buildings, do research, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's cool. Would there be any value that you could share with how those initial conversations with Epic came about? Was there any catalyst that kind of led to those conversations and opportunities?
I think we worked really hard on our announcement, our public announcement. So this was shortly after Kiwi Games started 2019. I'm just trying to remember the timeline. And we worked really hard on that. We made sure we had a really compelling trailer, and I hired in a marketing guy who knew what he was doing and could do a press release, because there's no way I was going to manage one. And it was that visibility. And I think that's one of the two big lessons I think I've learned in this journey. One is that visibility matters so much. When we're on the front page of Epic, for whatever reason, our sales go up. When we're not on the front page of Epic, our sales go down. But also, the visibility of being seen by the industry, which is a big bonus of being in Kiwi Game Starter, to keep growing and making more games. We already know what the next thing is going to be, and we've got ideas for the one after that. So long as we keep making the right decisions, and next few years hopefully is just
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's really exciting. And the last question I had, which you can take this in any direction that you want, but what advice do you have for aspiring game developers in New Zealand that have a passion for game development and would like to be in a similar place that you are in one day?
I remembered the other thing I was going to say, which was an answer to this question. So there you go.
Awesome.
I think one of the biggest lessons I've learned is if you want game development to be your career and not just a hobby. So if you want to be a game developer as a hobby, that's absolutely fine. Do it and have fun. But if you want to do it for real, there are about 1 million things that you don't know how to do and you're bad at. You have to learn how to do them or find people to do them, and you can't avoid that. If you're a standard, slightly introverted game programmer, you have to do marketing and social media and being a face. You can't not. If you're a wonderfully creative artist, you have to do programming or find someone to do it for you. And I think a lot of people fail because they fail to be realistic about all of the things that go into making a game. And one of the huge benefits I found in Kiwi Game Starter both years is it forces you to think about not just am I making a good game, but am I making a good game that will sell and is realistic and has marketing beats, and you can't not do all that stuff, and that's by far the most valuable thing you can do if you want to do game dev, is be realistic about that and learn that stuff.
Yeah, totally. That's great advice, and it's a testament, I think, to your journey about how much and how big of a scale this really is. And Kiwi Game Starter, the main prize is $25,000, and thanks to you and Balancing Monkey Games, you guys have provided $10,000 for the second place prize. So thank you so much for that, because that's going to really help just get a step ahead to whoever the runner-up is today. So that's perfect. Thank you so much, Sam, for giving your time today and sharing some insights. So the finalists and those listening can leave with some valuable actionable points from someone who has succeeded in the New Zealand games industry. So thanks for joining us today.
No worries. Thank you very much.
Awesome. So next up, we're going to have Lucas introduce who the judges are. Judges aren't here with us today, but he's going to give a brief summary of who they are and what they've done. And then we'll quickly get into the announcement of who's the winner. So that's back over to you, Lucas.
Thanks, Carl. So with the four finalists, we invite prominent industry people to come in and share their opinions and thoughts about these games. And this year, we're very fortunate to have a broad international stage for our finalist judges. So to introduce the three finalist judges that we have, the first one is Jason Della Rocca, who you probably know. He was the executive director of the IGDA, the International Game Developers Association, for many years, and is a big industry insider, industry entrepreneur, seed advisor and cluster expert, just a fantastic resource to have on the team. And next up we have V. Pendergrast, who is, and Jason's coming from Quebec in Montreal in Canada. Next we have V. Pendergrast, who is coming at us from Perth in Australia, and she is an operation manager for the NZ Centre of Digital Excellence, CODE, down in Dunedin, even though she's currently in Perth. And is the instigator of West Australia's new government funding program for games and interactive, working with all sorts of the states over in Australia to try and get more seed funding for Australian development. And we're hoping that she does the same here in New Zealand. She is also a developer herself with a studio called Stirfire Studios. And last up, we have Andrew Cushion, who is coming at us from Auckland, and he is the engagement director and leads the community events and communication teams at Internet New Zealand. He's been prominent in the internet, telco, and tech centers, acting as a deputy chief executive, leading teams and advocating for internet policy across New Zealand. So those are the three judges that we had this year. We were able to kind of be a fly on the wall for the deliberations and their questioning. So the process is that they play the games, they investigate the commercial viability of the games, and then they have 20 minutes with each team to sit down and have a chat. We called it a fireside chat. They worked incredibly well together, having, I assume, never met each other. They were bouncing off each other and drawing upon strengths of each other's experience, and ramping up the questions that they were asking to the teams to incredibly difficult to just simply difficult, which the teams all handled very, very well. And it was a really, really nice, hopefully constructive discussion for everyone involved. After that, they deliberated for quite a while, bouncing ideas back and forth, and eventually came up with their choices for the finalist and the runner-up. So I would like to now take this opportunity to kick off the first award for the runner-up. I have a little envelope here that we're going to open up. Very exciting. So let's see, 12:22. We're a little bit early, but I'm going to go ahead and do it. So the runner-up for the 2020 New Zealand Game Starter competition is Mecha Weka with Battle Cruisers. Congratulations, Mecha Weka. So your project was highlighted by the team for its engaging gameplay and its kind of retro vibe, but taking it to some pretty cool new places. So Mecha Weka, how are you guys doing? How does it feel? And what are you kind of hoping to have happen over the next year or so?
Oh man, thank you so much. This is a huge honor for us. We didn't have to bribe anyone, so we're surprised. Color us surprised. I grew up on a goat farm in Dairy Flat, and I always thought that game design was for first world country people, the people from real countries, and no one from New Zealand will ever become a game designer. And I just had this pessimistic view, and here we are in New Zealand coming together thanks to the New Zealand Game Developers Association and supporting us and supporting our fanciful and whimsical dreams to come true. It's just totally amazing. Winning a prestigious prize like this, it's been amazing for us. We just launched our game Battle Cruisers in February. It's just been totally surreal. This shouldn't be happening. We've won Game of the Month for Metro. We've been featured on the App Store, been front page of Steam, and now this is. I kind of thought would be the runner-up because of the other contestants in the pool, the other finalists, the quality of those finalists. I just thought maybe we'll get runner-up, and I just speechless. So I guess this means we can use this mentorship to develop a whole lot of new toys, new features, new levels for our game Battle Cruisers, and keep our community engaged. We know the money will go such a long way for us for our localization efforts, but the real gold medal for us was the mentorship, which is what we wanted the most, is that mentorship, because Jason is just going to give us some fantastic advice. I know all the judges had really good ideas for us. They wanted to tell us, but they couldn't tell us because we're still in the judging process. But now we're going to get to hear it all, and we're going to be able to make this dream real. And it's just absolutely outstanding. I just love it. I should thank a few people before passing on to Felix. I'd just like to thank the New Zealand Game Developers Association, of course, Lucas and Chelsea, and Carl, of course, V from Code, Andrew from Internet New Zealand, and Jason from Execution Labs for their excellent judgment on who should win this competition. They judged great, really good. 8 on 10. I have to thank the other finalists, Ghost Fail, Rose and Lockett, just amazing art and voice acting. You got to check it out. Seedlings with the New Zealand environments is just you got to see these games. If you haven't checked them out, see them. Ghost Fail, Rose and Lockett, Seedlings. And thank you to Balancing Monkey Games for the donation of the prize. There's, they didn't need to do it, but they did it. It's just that kind of support is just something that's so refreshing for us as, amateurs in the game development world. I have to thank Beck for her keeping us on track, being the voice of reason, a pillar of conscientiousness. And we would not be successful without her business insight and input. And of course, number one thanks of all, Felix, my best bud, Felix, who despite his appearance is super talented. When we first met at our mixed martial arts club about 12 years ago, we fought for years before he got me an armbar. He got me an armbar, and then I knew this man has some talent. He's got potential. He's the kindest, most positive, most loyal friend I have. And definitely success would not be here without Felix. And he should be talking, not me. On to Felix. Zip.
Well, I think Peter's covered everything. Yeah, I'm so stoked. Thank you to everyone. That's it.
Yes.
All right. Congratulations, guys. We're really excited to see what you guys are going to be doing over the next year, and excited to see how that mentorship program works out for you.
Yes.
And as Peter said, make sure everyone watching this, make sure to check out the games. We'll be making links available if you can't find it. Everyone has Twitter handles, and please check out all the games. They're really, really impressive this year.
Definitely.
Okay, so let's move on to the final event. Again, the judges definitely deliberated quite a lot over who should be the finalist for the 2020 cycle. They were all coming from fairly different places in terms of what they were looking for, which I thought was a really strong part of the team in terms of the judging team. And balancing out, the current state of development, the quality of production, the potential for commercialization and international success, kind of all factored in. And it was a really interesting experience to be able to watch the three of them hash it out and come to a really clean, clear agreement for it. So, without further ado, very excited to announce this year's 2020 Kiwi Game Starter finalist is Whistling Wizard with Rose and Locket. Whistling Wizard, congratulations, guys! The judging team were blown away, not only with what you had accomplished, but they were also really excited to see what you guys will accomplish with the game, with their mentorship, and with the $25,000 that will be made available to you. Hi guys, how do you feel about this, and where do you hope to be in the next year?
So first off, speechless, which isn't, I can't really say that too often. I generally do a lot of talking, but this is absolutely blown away. We had no idea where this was going. I mean, the quality of the other finalists there was just
awesome,
absolutely amazing. And we were just super happy just to be here in the lineup, and just to see the quality of these New Zealand projects going out. Massive thank yous, New Zealand, NZGDA, and you guys and everything you're doing. It's just incredible, your tireless work out there and bringing people together. Situations like this, absolutely incredible. Host, everything, super smooth process here. Geez, I'm a bit speechless actually. Where we're going over the next year, basically what this means for us is all of this moves just directly towards Rose and Locket. It's such a passion project for us. We've poured our hearts and souls into it, and just support like this just means so much, and we can move towards just focusing that direction and that vision so much more. The mentorship, everything, just all inclusive. It's just, yeah, awesome. This is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Yeah, I'm a little lost for words, I must admit. Yeah.
All right, guys. Congratulations. We are super excited to see what you guys do. So again, the 2020 Kiwi Game Starter winners are Whistling Wizard with their project Rose and Locket. Please do check it out. And again, check out all of the games that were the 4 finalists, because they were all really, really, really high quality this year. And the judging team did have a difficult job ahead of them. Again, we've got Ghost Veil, we've got Battle Cruisers, we've got Rose and Locket, and we have Seedlings, and they are all fantastic games. Please do check them out. Okay, so now I want to quickly thank our sponsors for being able to provide the funds and resources made available. So that was Grinding Gear Games, Balancing Monkey Games, Dinosaur Polo Club, Pickpock, and of course Internet NZ. And now I'd like to hand over to the chairperson of the NZGDA, Chelsea Rapp, with a few words. Chelsea.
Hi guys, congratulations to you. I'm so excited by all of these games. Obviously, I think I can speak for everybody that we're really blown away by just the quality of these games that are being submitted. And it's clear that there is a lot of talent in New Zealand. And a lot of it is sometimes, not as vocal as some of the others. I was mentioning to the Whistling Wizard guys yesterday that they feel like they came out of nowhere, because they've made one post in the Facebook group like 3 months ago, and everyone was like, where did this come from? So it's really cool. We're very, very grateful to be able to support projects like this. And I know it's not a ton of money, but as Sam mentioned earlier, it's just a stepping stone, and we're very lucky that we have the opportunity to support you guys in this way. Again, not just the money, but the mentorship package that comes along with that, and getting to tailor that program. So again, big congratulations, Mekaweka and Rosen Lockett. I'm really excited to see what you guys are going to achieve in this next year. And we're gonna try to keep in touch with you guys and share some of that progress that you're making throughout this year, and share that with the community to see where you go. So again, congratulations. Great job, everyone.
Thanks, Chelsea. I'd like to take a minute to talk about the next Kiwi Game Starter cycle, especially for all those people watching who are super keen to jump in. Now, because of the whole COVID situation, international pandemic, our timing is a little off. So we are actually going to start the next Kiwi Game Starter in 2022. Around this time in 2022, around March, we'll be kicking off the next cycle in order to be able to announce the winner, where we normally do at the New Zealand Game Developers Conference in August. And in order to do that, make sure to hop on Twitter, watch our website, and the process will be kicking off again 2022 around March. So you have plenty of time to get your game polished, sounding good, looking good, get a really tight business plan, and have a really good idea of where you want to go. And who knows, we'll see what happens, right? Thank you very much, and I want to hand back to Carl.
Cool. Big thank you to you, Chelsea and Lucas, for helping with your guys' comments. It's inspiring as well. Sam, thank you for giving your advice and your perspective from the last few years, and congratulations to those that came out, and even those that weren't finalists or runner-up. I think everyone here should go and check out those games, those pages, because they're still going to be developed. There's still going to be updates, and that's what community is all about. It isn't just about who wins and about all the money that they can make. I think community plays such a huge part for Kiwi Game Starter, and I think Sam Barham would say the same thing, that there's so many people in the New Zealand gaming industry that he's leaned on, that have helped him, and that's what it's all about. That's why we love to do this. That's why we're so passionate about it. So that's pretty much it for the live stream today. We've got what we wanted, and we've reached the end of it. Another person I want to give a big thank you to is Ian from Cloudfire Studios. This whole live stream situation, he's in the background changing cameras, adding the graphics, and we wouldn't have been able to get this done without him. Sorry for the hiccups, but that I think is the least of our worries, considering how we were able to get all the finalists in one room, get the judges and all the the flow of the whole live stream done. So thanks, Ian. We really appreciate you. Cloudfire Studios, if you're wanting to do any Zoom live streams anytime soon. And you'll see this video is hosted on the Christchurch Game Dev YouTube channel. We're going to upload a video to the NZGDA YouTube channel shortly. But otherwise, if you want to support us, you can follow us on Twitter at NZGDA. We're constantly updating with industry news, sharing things that come into our field of view. We have a monthly newsletter. You can join that at nzgda.com/join. And that's it. Thanks again to our sponsors and our finalists. Congratulations and all the best. Have a great rest of the day, everyone. Thank you.